Deploying millions of dollars into an emerging market means navigating the sovereign rules that control how your money enters, operates, and ultimately leaves. In Nepal, every dollar of foreign capital is governed by a single statutory framework, the Foreign Investment and Technology Transfer Rules, 2077. This law establishes a strict chronological life cycle, placing legal conditions on your capital from the moment of approval until the day you attempt to withdraw profits. Navigating this specific statutory life cycle ensures that capital remains mobile, whereas failing to meet these milestones results in your investment becoming legally trapped. The statute structures foreign investment into 3 distinct phases. The first is approval and entry, where your capital clears the initial legal gateway. The second phase is the capital injection mandate, which enforces strict deadlines on when and how much money you actually deploy. The third phase is value extraction and repatriation, governing how you take your returns out of the country. This framework operates as a continuous pipeline. You cannot progress to the next phase without proving total statutory compliance in the previous one. We are going to decode the specific mechanics of this framework, examining how electronic approvals, mathematical injection timelines, and strict royalty caps govern the flow of foreign capital. Historically, entering this market required navigating Rule 8. This mandated that foreign investors compile and submit an extensive physical portfolio, including detailed project proposals, joint venture agreements, and financial credibility certificates. Compiling these physical dossiers created significant bureaucratic friction before a single dollar was deployed. Recent legal amendments introduced a digital alternative to bypass this bottleneck. Rule 8A establishes the automatic route. For investments under specific thresholds, the government built a direct electronic portal where investors input their data and upload the required documentation digitally. Once the data is verified in the system, the platform generates an immediate electronic confirmation, granting the investment approval without a protracted manual review. By replacing weeks of physical filing with instant digital verification, the automatic route removes the primary barrier to entry. But this speed comes with a trade-off. The system logs the exact moment of your approval into a state database, triggering a rigid automated countdown for the next phase of the investment. Digital approval is not an open-ended invitation. The moment your approval is logged, a strict 1-year statutory clock starts ticking. Rule 9 enforces a capital injection mandate. It dictates exactly how much of your approved capital must cross the border into Nepal within that first year, using a sliding scale of 25, 15, 10, and 5%. If you are investing at the statutory minimum amount, you are legally required to inject at least 25% of your total approved capital before the 12-month deadline. As the total investment volume scales up, the required year 1 percentage drops. For large-scale projects exceeding 1 billion Nepal, the first-year minimum requirement is 5%. This chart illustrates the inverse mathematical relationship between capital volume and the injection mandate. The larger the total financial commitment, the lower the initial percentage requirement, allowing major projects more time to mobilize massive tranches. Beyond the first year, Rule 9 implements an absolute operational threshold. You must inject 70% of your total approved capital before you can legally begin commercial production or business transactions. The final 30% of your capital must then enter the country within 2 years of starting those commercial operations. By forcing strict capital entry tied to statutory deadlines, Nepal systematically filters out speculative approvals, guaranteeing foreign entities commit real capital to the economy. Once the capital is injected and the business is running, the focus shifts to extracting value. The state places strict legal ceilings on how much revenue you can withdraw through technology transfer royalties. Rule 5 ties directly into Schedule 1, which defines a dual rate ceiling for these royalties based entirely on where you sell your product. For general technology transfers, where the product is sold within Nepal's domestic market, your royalty extraction is capped at a maximum of 5% of net sales, excluding taxes. If you manufacture that exact same product for export, the state doubles your legal royalty cap to 10%. The state imposes tighter limits on simple trademark licensing. If you are operating a liquor or tobacco business and only using a foreign trademark, your domestic extraction is restricted to a 2. At the mid-tier threshold, an investor with an approved foreign investment of 100 million rupees who successfully injects 25% of that capital is granted business visas for up to 2 official representatives and their families. For premium investments, injecting more than $1 million in a single tranche unlocks residential visas for the investor or authorized representative, valid as long as at least 50% of that capital remains in Nepal. Visa durations are operational incentives. The government leverages access to the country to ensure investors maintain the minimum capital injections required by the statute. Every previous phase leads to the ultimate objective of a foreign entity, extracting capital and profit from the country through repatriation under Rule 11. This exit route is highly conditional. To legally move money out of Nepal, Rule 11 requires you to submit specific documentary proofs showing you have complied with every statutory mandate from day one. You must present administrative documents, including corporate board decisions, updated share registries, and definitive proof that your original capital injection met the legal timelines. The law requires the previous fiscal year's audit report and a definitive tax clearance certificate from the government. Repatriation depends on the convergence of several verified inputs: the previous year's audit, the tax clearance certificate, and the original approval records must align before the extraction node becomes legally accessible. Under this framework, capital extraction is legally impossible without an unbroken chain of prior statutory compliance. The 2077 rules operate on a precise duality. They offer efficient digital entry points, balanced against rigid, unyielding mathematical timelines. This is how the state exerts sovereign control over foreign capital mobility within its borders. The foreign investment and technology transfer rules function as a structured, conditional pipeline. They facilitate your entry, demand your commitment, and strictly gatekeep the exit.